Registered. Thank you. Senator Daines.
Chair Murkowski, thank you. Again, I want to welcome Councilwoman Joan Johnson from Harlem, Montana. Thanks again for coming before this committee. I certainly appreciate the opportunity to have a discussion to talk public safety for our Native communities, particularly Native youth. I applaud the Trump administration's immediate actions to close the southern border and dispatch law enforcement personnel to Indian country. And the opening of that new FBI field office in Billings bodes well for future cooperation between our state, tribal, and federal partners to address violent crime on reservations. I'm really glad to have our U.S. Attorney Kurt Almy there in Billings, who I know is passionate on this issue. With more law enforcement resources certainly needed, there's still more, of course, that needs to be done to address public safety than just arrests and drug interdictions. Councilwoman Johnson, the Fort Belknap Indian Community were amongst the first tribes in the country to participate in the Tawani initiative. Through this pilot program, the tribe received funding to strengthen and integrate services to better serve young people on the reservation, as you mentioned, also to help the parents. You're also addressing the youth, but also the parents to break, as you say, some of the generational trauma that's passed on. My question for you is, could you explain briefly the biggest impacts you've seen since implementing the Tawani framework?
Well, I have to answer. Sorry. I guess I'd have to answer that in a spiritual way. We helping them find their culture, their identity, and knowing who they are, and like receiving a native name, understanding the language. And when they first started, a lot of our clients, they didn't even know where they came from. So the 6 elders that come on board with Tiwahe that have been with us since the beginning, they taught them about our culture and traditional.
Thank you. You mentioned about the results, the efficacy of the program. We met this morning. In the first 4 years of the program, the Fort Belknap saw decreases in child abuse cases, family assaults, and elder abuse cases. The juvenile recidivism rate decreased, I believe you told me, from 80% to 35%, and the number of program participants increased. Has the Fort Belknap tribe been able to sustain that success over the last 4 years?
Yes, we have. Through our culturally infused alternative sentencing, meaning that they are with their culture, teaching these kids who they are so they grow up with identity, simply like having a native name, learning the language, learning about ceremonies like Sundance, fasting, circles, knowing their self-worth, knowing they are worthy and loved. And a lot of these kids never thought they were. Teaching parents how to be supportive of their children. As I stated earlier in our conversation, that not only do we work with the youth, the parents kind of fell in where we're kind of teaching the parents how to be a role model, how to support their child, and how to love them, not only emotionally, but physically too. When these kids learn to love themselves, they stop recidivism because they're, like I said, when they come in, there's no identity. They feel abandoned. They have anger issues. Some of them come in with addiction. And so, and these kids want to go to school. They don't want to go to school hungry. They don't want to go to school and be bullied because of the lifestyle that they live. They just want to go to school and get an education and have a better life. And they want their parents to love them and support them. A lot of these kids will always love their parents no matter what, but they want that support and that love from their parents. They want to feel safe and protected. So that's what our elders provide them with, the understanding what true self-love is, teaching them the core values of being respectful. And and our clients become role models themselves to the new clients that come in, the younger ones. They take them kind of under their arm, trying to guide them in the way the elders guided them. And we do a lot of follow-ups, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, even after they turn 18. Our case manager goes out and still does the follow-up, because I think follow-ups are very important when you have when you work with children, youth at a young age, to know that there's somebody out there that believes in them. And we have Fort Belknap has the highest rate of follow-ups that are being done.
Councilwoman Johnson, thank you. It's a long ways from Harlem, Montana to Washington, D.C. Thanks for making the long journey and for your testimony.